Coming off of the back of the AR5000 review, the very first headphone from OUN, I first got to hear this at Munich High-End 2024. We now have their flagship headphone. This is the OUN SR7000, the closed back variant that costs more and yields higher performance. But let's have a look together. The box is definitely bigger. Not only that, you get more accessories with this one, roughly around $700, £650, £550. The price varies depending on your location, where you buy it from, etc. It is supplied with a very, very hefty travel case. And then some documentation, and we can place the box here and dispense with that. That's not what we're here for. This is the headphone case itself. This unit feels a lot more substantial now immediately. I absolutely ranted and raved about the AR5000, and the SR7000, having them side by side gives us a very good opportunity to see. First and foremost, I do need to extend a massive shout out directly to OUN for sending these units, plus their S17 Pro S Evo, not a fan of the name, for review and assessment. I do appreciate it. So you open up the case, it's very fluffy inside, velvet material, and this is the first accessory here. This is their braided, I think it's an OCC cable, single-ended 3.5. These are the units themselves, the SR7000. We also get a balanced 4.4 Pentagon cable supplied with the unit. This is a very, very good case. Zip is a little bit stiff. Yoink. Nice handle. I shall place that there for now. So, before we get onto the headphones, let's look at the cables together. This is their braided cable. Does it keep its shape? We'll see together. It's been coiled up for a while. No. This is pretty decent. It's not bad at all. A couple of yanks, giggity, and you're good to go. So I am quite happy with this cable for single-ended use. It's not bad. This is their balanced cable. This is a better cable, softer, more pliant, and obviously balanced as well. Then we have the terminations of a 3.5. Thank you for not doing some weird proprietary connector. Axel Grail, I'm looking at you right now because that headphone is very interesting and you've done some crazy stuff with the connectors and I'm not happy about it. So, cable's very decent. There we go. But this is what you're here for. Before we start, when a company introduces a pair of headphones for the very first time when they've never delved in this area, it is very rare to come out of the gate swinging. And OUN, honestly, I am shocked by the comfort, by the design, and by the polished nature of their headphones, from the AR5000 review here to this flagship category of theirs, the SR7000. Aerodynamic curvatures on the side. A very, very, very wide headband in reminiscent of the Warwick Acoustics Aperio, etc. All day wearing, ultra comfortable, 390 grams for this one. Full specifications scrolling down the screen here. As you can see, this is a dynamic headphone, around 50 ohms and around the 100 dB sensitivity marker. So it's pretty easy to drive. You don't have any problems. We have angled 3.5 entry for the connections. And this really does remind me of the X9000. And that costs $7,000, electrostatics, etc. But this really reminds me of that so much. There's a lot of proprietary technology inside this unit, and that is angled drivers, quite angled, as you can see through our footage here. They're also using this new technology they've named Dragon Scale. And this is basically like the DCS waveguide, where it traps and dissipates and diffuses, like the panels you see around me for our speakers, inside these mini rooms, which is basically what you have inside a cup. It's basically a room where the speaker is sitting in. This gets rid of resonances and dissipates peaks, etc. First of all, I need to talk about the clickiness of the headband. The ergonomics and passive isolation of this headphone before we move on to the sound. In an office environment or a studio environment such as this here, my AC is dead silent. It cuts out quite a lot of noise. It's pretty decent. But this unit for outside use, I would almost say not semi-open back, but probably a little bit closer to the closed back than a full-on closed back like the DCA Stealth, etc. So that's one thing to bear in mind. It does leak a little bit, not too much, but the actual passive isolation is very decent for a home or office use. For outside, that is not as isolating as some others on the market. Before I jump onto the sound, I just want to say something right here, right now. Build quality, sound quality, polish, nature of this headphone, tonality. It's simply the best closed back headphone under $1,000. And I'm looking at you, Emutique, and quite a few of the others we have reviewed. 99 Classics, and there's quite a few that we've reviewed on the channel. This is, without a doubt, the best closed back headphone you will buy under $1,000. Technicality wise, this is on par, if not better, than the Meze 109 Pro. King under $1,000 for me. With that, let's talk about the sound. Okay, what equipment have I used this on? I have used this on a variety of equipment here, obviously not on the reference system as you see behind me, it's not necessary. This has been used on the Mojo 2 and Poly, Hugo 2 and To Go. This has been used on the Audema, on the second rack, which is out of frame. And this has been predominantly used on a portable use case. So Luxury and Precision P6 Pro M18i from Questyle. Thank you for sending that in for review. Check out the review, Mia. But predominantly, this is my daily driver when I'm not in the studio with the Mojo 2. But that has been my use case. It's very easy to drive, but who is this for? I mean, we are talking about a headphone and a closed back headphone. Normally we'll say this is for everybody, right? No. This is who you'd introduce audiophile performance to. It's spectacular. Tonality. It's a cross between the ZMF Atrium, a touch of the LCD5, so that sort of dark mid-range. A balanced sound. This is definitely not visceral impact like a Utopia. This is definitely not detail retrieval like a Diana DZ. No, this is a very balanced headphone. It's good at everything. It's a bit of a jack of all trades for an audiophile. It is one of my favorite closed back headphones that doesn't feel like a closed back. In fact, it's got a bigger stage than the AR5000, which is an open headphone. It's on par stage-wise with the Axel Grail, which is insane for that category, though a little bit uncomfortable, but we will discuss that in the comparison section because I think we do need to compare this headphone to a lot of others. So, a rich tonality that is that sort of dark background, slightly darker mid-range. There is a subtle peak, but before I jump onto that aspect of it, let's do the frequency response breakdown of this unit, which basically starts for us at the sub bass. It's there. Like the X9000, you know it's there. You can hear it's there. You can feel its body, it's there. It's this big. But you don't feel the true visceral weight of it, like, for example, an Atrium. It's just there to be seen and heard. It's not there to be impacted on the chest. And how tight these pads are against your head makes a slight bit of difference. in regards to how visceral that is. Not only that, these beautiful pads are, no, they're protein leather. They're not real leather. Climbing up to the mid bass, punch is definitely there. It's definitely audible, but it's just enough to showcase, yes, I am balanced through and through. The mid bass climbs up to the upper bass, and the upper bass supports the treble region very well, so it's not a thin sounding headphone. And then the mid range is organic, texturally rich, very balanced, very Atrium-esque. If you've heard the Zach headphone, the Atrium, the ZMF Atrium review here, I highly recommend checking out that review after this one. You get a lot of characteristics of that headphone in this closed back. And then the treble region is kind of laid back in the lower treble, except where you get a slight rise around 6 kilohertz, and this sometimes can sound a little energetic. Not peaky, not sibilant, no, just a little energetic. And this brings to mind for me the Diana Phi from yesteryear. Then we have a very airy up top treble region that sort of lays back a bit, so it's not overly fatiguing. This is a very, very balanced sounding headphone. Absolutely love it. It is a headphone that doesn't wow, but grows on you to showcase balance, performance, and how sound is the priority versus gimmicks. No thunderous bass here to basically encompass all of the other frequencies. No, this is a very delicate headphone. I think, in fact, if this moniker is not in the title, I have to put it there. This is a very delicate sounding headphone for the more discerning audiophile. Beautiful acoustics, beautiful vocals, a very balanced sound for rock songs, a beautiful, texturally rich, classical experience for violins and cellos. But it's a gentle headphone. It's a headphone that gets out of the way and showcases the music when it needs to. It's a perfect office headphone. And just look at how beautiful this thing is. In fact, they have taken their closed back, beaten their open back stage layering, performance, etc. Obviously it's twice the price, but it overtakes the open back for stage and imaging and layering. It's spectacular. I am very, very impressed with this headphone. In fact, the two OUN headphones have become the reference for me in the $300 for open backs and under $1,000 closed backs. This is what you've got to beat at CMA. Yes, there are aspects of other headphones that can beat it, like the Grail crazy weird imaging, which we will discuss. But overall, this is a refined headphone that maybe quite isn't. So let's do some comparisons. And then we'll get onto EQ in this headphone because, yeah, I actually said it. I went down that road because it can help and it makes some differences and changes, and I think it's enjoyable. But shh. The SR7000 versus the actual Grail headphone versus the AR5000 versus the Eris from my boy over there, Z Reviews, and any other headphones that comes to mind and that is on the shelf over there on the wall. Sub bass. I think we all know Eris takes it over all of them, but this is cleaner and more refined. The AR5000 is a bit more visceral than this and a bit more prominent, but it's a little bit more grainy. The actual Grail headphone is the one that is, I think, on par with this in the sub bass category, and as visceral. The actual Grail headphone is basically an HD 650 on steroids. I can't wait to bring you that review because setting aside the comfort, it's a spectacular performance. The mid bass, actual Grail headphone completely goes out of whack. It's boomy. It's a little bit too thick. I don't like it. This is a lot more refined, and this is a lot more closer to the HD6XX, I would say, but with better resolution by a significant margin. And why am I comparing this closed back to all of those open backs? It's because its stage is as big as those. And I think when it doesn't have the resonances and the bad aspects of closed backs, and it's as delicate and airy as those, I think it warrants to be in that category, which is very bizarre for me. The mid-range, you will not beat the actual Grail headphone for textural information, vivacity, and actual presence. It's insane what that headphone can do. I like the mid-range on the Eris quite a bit. Its dynamic range was pretty spectacular, the unit I have here at least, but this is a bit more gentle with that. This is a bit darker in comparison to those. The treble region, this is more refined, I think, than all of them. Timbre, I think, is slightly better on the Grail headphone because it really does sound realistic. This is a bit more of a balanced frequency response, but its timbre, I think it's probably edged out by a small margin by the Grail. The HD650 does not have the resolution of this headphone at all, and it's a lot darker in the treble region when I've tested them side by side here. But that's still a spectacular headphone, knows how many years after its release. It's got to be mentioned, but the build quality, this beats all of the ones I've mentioned. Listening to Billie Eilish for vocals, it's one of my favorites. Listening to Catatonia, listening to Coheed and Cambria, they actually got a new album out. I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet. Listening to Hans Zimmer, this is more of a, okay, I'm looking at the music now. I can see exactly what you're doing, and you're doing it very, very well. And yes, I can fall into the song sometimes, but it's not distracting me. I can still carry on doing other things I need to do. I love this headphone. What are its downsides? I think its downsides depends on your genre of your music, because for example, electronic music, it's okay on this. I wouldn't say it's something like a Utopia or even like the Axel Grill, which is incredible for electronic music, or even the Eris actually. It's very punchy, very aggressive with it. No, this is a laid-back sound. You know what audience this is for. You know if it's for you. This is more of a refined listening experience, a gentle listening experience. This is not for those of you who want heavy hitting headphones. This is for those of you who like a gentle, laid-back listen and a delicate listen and a refined, I can't believe we're using this term, audiophile. Listen, no gimmicks here at all. Just comfort, gentle presence of the instruments, a clean sound. This is a spectacular headphone. Let's do the scores. Build quality and comfort, 5 Tigers out of 5. Though this is a little bit heavier than the AR5000, I think that was around 350 grams, but you don't feel it on your head due to the headband and distribution. Build quality, 5 Tigers out of 5. For this price category, there are $2,500 headphones that is not as well built as this. Sound quality, 4 solid Tigers out of 5. Absolutely spectacular. I have no idea how this company have done this for their first closeback and their first open back, but they have come out of the gate swinging, and I cannot wait to see their next iteration. In conclusion, should you buy this headphone? If you've got $1,000 and below to spend on a closeback, this is what you go for. Absolutely. OUNE SR7000. I am very, very impressed by you. Well done, OUNE. And thanks again for sending in the review units. I do appreciate it. I actually did wait quite a while for it, and I was anticipating it because I really liked them at Munich. Their open back, their closed back, and their Evo amp. It was honestly very special. But it wasn't the Evo at the time. I think it was the S17 Pro S, or just S17 Pro. And it was one of the highlights for me at Munich. It's really bizarre. Out of all of those very expensive pieces of equipment, it was one of the things that stuck with me, because this category is moving at a pace. Talking of moving at a pace, and if you want to be informed, consider joining Patreon, where all of your support goes to helping our editors edit our videos, pay for our cameraman, and keep the channel running. And also, as a perk, you get to see earlier reviews in the Ambush of Tigers tier. Jump into the private Telegram chat where I get to tell you about all of these pieces of equipment that come in for assessment before it comes on YouTube. Otherwise, your like, your share, and a comment down below is all I require from you. I'm COGCO from our new studio. Until the next time, peace.